Shock abortion scandal. Maryseil Terita's pregnancy nightmare. Broncos star's baby Bombshell rocks the league. The whisper of a heartbeat, too faint to hold, echoes through the corridors of a Brisbane hospital, where joy and sorrow collide like thunder over the Maroons' heartland. Maryseil Terita, the Broncos' indomitable enforcer, whose thunderous runs had shaken Suncorp Stadium, now confronts a silence deeper than any defensive line. A pregnancy, a promise of new life amid the roar of rugby league glory, shattered by an abortion shrouded in secrecy and strain, a choice born of shadows, not celebration. How does a warrior, forged in the fires of Pacific pride and Queensland grit, bear the weight of a loss that no grand final can redeem? This is the story of Maryseil Terita, not the prop, not the powerhouse, but the man whose hidden heartache became a league's quiet lament. It was a humid dawn in July 2025, midway through a Broncos season teetering on the edge of redemption. Maryseil Terita, at 28, had emerged as the club's unyielding anchor, his Samoan roots woven into every bone-crunching carry that propelled Brisbane toward the playoffs. Off the field, in the sun-baked suburbs of Logan, where palm fronds swayed like forgotten flags, his life with fiancée Aria, a nurse whose gentle hands steadied his storm, had blossomed into something sacred. They'd shared dreams of family amid the chaos of match days, her laughter a counterpoint to the scrum's fury. But whispers of strain had crept in. The relentless travel, the mounting injuries, the invisible toll of a career that demanded invincibility. A positive test, slipped into their quiet morning, was meant to be a beacon, until the doctor's words turned it to dusk. Please like, share, and subscribe for more sport talk content. The decision unfolded in layers of anguish, not headlines. Aria, facing health complications that threatened her very survival, a rare condition exacerbated by the pregnancy, chose termination in a sterile room overlooking the Brisbane River, its waters indifferent to the grief within. Maryseil stood by her, his massive frame humbled, holding her hand as the procedure blurred time itself. It was a private pact, sealed in tears and resolve, far from the adoring crowds who knew him only as the titan who terrorized defenses. Yet, in the vulnerability of aftermath, a single, anguished call to a teammate pierced the veil, a confession that would ripple outward, transforming personal torment into public tremor. The turning point arrived not in revelation, but in the raw fracture of trust. Weeks later, at a Broncos recovery session in the shadow of the Gabba, Maryseil confided in a close forward, his voice a low rumble over the clatter of weights. It's like losing a part of us both. Her health, our future, all tangled up. The teammate, bound by brotherhood, carried the weight silently at first, but in a moment of locker room candor, the story slipped, to another, then to a journalist's ear. The leak hit like a siren in the night, a blindside no one saw coming. Maryseil, mid-stride in training, froze as his phone buzzed with the news alert, his world narrowing to the sting of exposure. That evening, under a canopy of jacaranda blooms shedding purple regrets, Maryseil and Aria faced the press at their garden gate, her arm linked in his like an anchor chain. The questions came soft at first, then insistent. Choices, regrets, the league's glare on private pain. Maryseil's response was a thunderclap of composure. This was our fight, for her life, for ours. Not a scandal, but survival. The gathered fans, a small vigil of purple jerseys who'd driven from Redcliffe, fell hushed, their cheers replaced by nods of solemn kinship. One held a sign, strength in silence. Maryseil. In that exchange, the enforcer became everyman, his armor pierced, revealing the heart beneath. The emotional pinnacle crested in the days that followed, as the Broncos huddle became a sanctuary of shared scars. Teammates, from Reece Walsh's fleet-footed empathy to Payne Haas's stoic embrace, circled him, not with pity, but presence. A private conversation in the team bus, en route to a rainy clash with the Cowboys, sealed it. We've all got battles off the field, mate, Walsh murmured, clapping his shoulder. Yours just got light shone on it. We're here. The squad's unity, forged in scrums and sprints, extended to this unseen war, a quiet vow that no man stands alone. For Maryseil, it was redemption in revelation, the pain laid bare, no longer a solitary burden. Crowd reactions swelled like a tide at low tide's turn. At the next home game, Suncorp's cauldron simmered with something softer, applause rippling through the stands as Maryseil warmed up, banners unfurled reading, Terita's tribe, we stand with you. Families in the bleachers, young dads clutching tots, exchanged glances of quiet understanding, the roar tempered to a hum of humanity. It wasn't the frenzy of a try, it was deeper, a collective breath held for a brother navigating waves no jersey could shield. In those stands, the league's pulse quickened, not with victory, but vulnerability. The story unfurled across the digital frontier like mist over Moreton Bay, headlines in the Courier Mail giving way to viral threads on X. Hashtag Terita Strong trended from Cairns to Canberra, fans sharing their own tales of hidden losses, miscarriages, choices in the shadows, turning scandal into solidarity. News panels on SEN shifted from scores to stories, experts like Wally Lewis lending gravitas. This is rugby league's real grit, not the hits, but the hearts. Podcasts dissected it with care, inviting voices from women's health advocates to Pacific Islander elders, weaving personal pain into communal cloth. The ripple reached beyond Brisbane's borders, touching the NRL's storied veins. Social media amplified Aria's essay in a women's magazine, her words a lantern. It wasn't easy, but it was ours, love in the face of fear. Fan reactions poured in, letters to the club, murals in Logan depicting Maryseil not charging, but cradling a symbolic light. In pubs from the Gold Coast to Newcastle, conversations turned introspective, the footy tipping overshadowed by toasts to resilience. It was a moment that humanized the heroes, stripping away the gloss to reveal the gold beneath. This aftermath deepened with cultural resonance. Rugby league's heritage is a working-class confessional laid bare. Born in the mills of northern England and reborn in Australia's multicultural mosaic, the game has always cradled the unspoken, grief in the scrum, hope in the haka. Maryseil's Samoan lineage, rich with Fa'a Samoa's communal bonds, amplified the echo, family is fortress, choices is collective. Historical parallels surfaced, the quiet struggles of icons like Steve Renouf, whose personal trials fueled his fire, reminding that the league's legacy is etched not in silverware alone, but in the scars that shape souls. The spread stirred a broader awakening, news cycles yielding to nuance as mental health hotlines reported surges from touched fans. In Pacific communities across Queensland, gatherings honored Aria's courage, blending Talanoa, storytelling circles, with league lore. The Broncos, ever the heartbeat of Brisbane's underdog spirit, launched a fund for reproductive health support, channeling chaos into change. It wasn't frenzy, but fermentation, a scandal alchemized into awareness, the league's macho mantle softened by Mary's veil of empathy. What does this nightmare whisper of our shared humanity? In the NRL's arena, where bodies break and spirits soar, Maryseil's story unveils the unseen fractures, the weight of fatherhood unspoken, the valor in letting go. It speaks to sportsmanship's truer face. Not flawless facades, but faltering fortitude, the grace to grieve amid the grind. Rugby league, with its heritage of huddled immigrants chasing dreams down under, teaches that legacy blooms in brokenness, where character is assayed not by conquest, but by compassion extended inward and out. This moment probes the values we vest in our warriors, invulnerability, or the quiet might to mourn. Maryseil's path illuminates the Pacific ethos of Alofa, love that endures through eclipse, reminding that true strength bends, does not shatter. Fans, in their reflections, confront their own silences, the choices uncelebrated, the pains unvoiced. In a sport that glorifies the charge, this pause honors the retreat, the sacred space where healing hums beneath the highlights. The reflection lingers on legacy's loom, threads of trial weaving tapestries of triumph. Sportsmanship, often a siren's call to stoicism, finds fuller form here. In vulnerability voiced, in community clasped.